Hello, everybody. Welcome to a new episode of your Frederish podcast. My name's Gary, and I am once again your host for the day. Tell me, how are you doing? How's everything? I really hope you're doing great. Really hope you're doing just fine. And I really hope you're enjoying these cold days, these rather cold and cool days in summer. Yeah, well, that's south of Brazil. I mean, I don't even know where you're listening to me from, but if you're from Curitiba and you're listening to it in January 26th, 2024, you're probably wearing cold, cozying up on your sofa or in a chair, possibly drinking a cup of hot chocolate or anything like that, or even a cup of tea or coffee, just like me. I mean, not precisely now. I'm not drinking coffee exactly now, but I drink it a lot, even when it's hot, let alone when it's cold. So yeah, that's it. Go grab whatever it takes for you to relax and to get comfortable, because today we're going to talk about a book. All right, The Richest Man in Babylon. Well, it sounds older than it actually is, okay? But it isn't as new when I start talking about a topic. When I make a summary, meaning when I summarize the book, when I make a short version, okay, of what the book talks about, people think it's from the 2020s. I mean, 2020,000 is just excellent. From 2020, 2015, I don't know, from the 21st century, basically, right? So it's not as old as it seems, as the title suggests. It's not Babylonic, all right, or even close to that, for that matter. But it's not a new book. It's a 100-year-old material, okay, which was born from. If memory serves me well, I researched about it many years ago, but it's a collection of articles by the one and only George Clason that were released. I don't remember exactly right now. I read about it years ago, but in a magazine or a newspaper, okay, back in the days, in the 20s. And then ultimately they were collected and became this magnificent, extraordinary, and totally necessary work called The Richest Man in Babylon. So without further ado, come, buckle up. Let's just go for it and follow me. Well, the book is basically the book has this environment around the ancient Babylon. Okay, to be honest, one should not look at this book or read it from a historical perspective, because I'm a fictionate in history. I love reading it, but I'm not a historian. Okay, and even me, even I can tell there are some imprecise facts if you look at them from a historical perspective, from a historian perspective, basically. All right, that's not the purpose. Okay, the book has no meaning, has no intention of seeming and being and going historically accurate. Okay, this is not a science book, basically. Okay. It's a more of a psychology book, okay? It brings a couple of stories, short stories, basically. Let me just look for this word, because it will just fit perfect. It will just be perfect here, okay? And I'm not sure if English says it the same way we do in Portuguese. Just give me one sec. Guys, there's no way to say that. I even Googled and made a quick research, but I wanted to say, when we say in Portuguese, é ambientado, right? There's no way to say that. You can say set, right? You can say the story takes place, but you get the picture, right? The stories take place they have, let me just rephrase it. The short stories, fictional, of course. Let me just make it crystal clear before anyone thinks it's a genuine material, historically speaking. But the stories have ancient Babylon as a background for them. Okay, so all of the stories, the fictional stories, short stories, take place in ancient Babylon. A couple, except for a few of them, but it has a connection. Okay, because 99% of the stories, 95% of the stories in the book, or the short stories in the book, tell a perspective from a character who lived in the ancient Babylon or close to it, around it, or someone thousands of years later in the 20th century finding these scriptures and reading them, and so that's it. So it's 100% about ancient Babylon, right? Let's put it this way. Me personally, I find very attractive, very sexy reading things, to be honest, I never read this book. It's on my to-do list. I never read this book. I still haven't read this book in English, okay, only in Portuguese. But again, it's on my to-do list to see if the language is the same, okay. It probably is, because first of all, it was written 100 years ago, so it has got a more ancient style, so to say, right? But also because it is based in ancient Babylon. But as far as the Portuguese translation goes, I can tell that the author had, this extra care of not only telling stories that, on behalf, basically, or as a POV, as a narrator, as a present narrator in the back in the days in the ancient Babylon, but also bringing the way people would communicate those things, right? Which certainly no one knows for sure, but 100% sure it wasn't like this modern communication we have these days, right? So this is fascinating in my opinion. It's cool reading the books. It kind of resembles, for you guys, for you Brazilians, regular Brazilians basically, like me. It kind of sounds like you kind of have the memory of the days when you were, maybe you're a religious person, but like when you were younger and you would read, in Sunday school, you read the Bible, it has a kind of a biblical, quote unquote, language in terms of linguistically speaking. And this makes all the stories sound so solid, right? Like, hey, we're talking about something spiritually elevated, at least that was my perception. That's what I'm sharing with you guys. But yeah, and about the content, okay, let's just go straight to the content. Oh, it's a thin book. I don't know how many pages. Let me just check quickly. How many pages are we talking about? Well, in Portuguese version, 157 pages. Okay, so you can read that over a weekend easily. Can you? But yeah, it's a thin book. It's easy to read. It's a must read, okay? Oh, I don't like this topic, okay? I know the book talks about money, talks about saving money. I don't like it. You should read it, okay? With all due respect. Read it in Portuguese if you don't want to have much trouble. Maybe if you're learning English, but you should. It would be interesting for you. Even if you don't like the book, you would have the experience of reading something in English, which is amazing. I always say that. I always tell you guys to go find things you like and read them in English. But that's it. About a topic, okay? Money, okay? The richest man in Babylon, of course. It would be quite of a surprise if that would have anything related, or if it wasn't related at all with money, okay? So all the stories have one thing in common, okay? To make a long story short, overcoming periods of money problems, okay? People in debts, people owing money, people going through hardship, okay? People starving, almost starving, people depressed because, well, they're not starving, but they're not where they wanted to be. Okay, so it's all about how can you deal better with money and consequently grow rich. Okay, that's the essence. Okay, so let's talk about the topics. Okay, because throughout the book there are 5 golden rules. In the book, the author calls them the golden rules of money. Okay, and I'd like to go through each one of them with you guys. All right, so let's jump into the 5 laws of golden according to George Clason on the book Richest Man in Babylon. Interesting fact, it's the 5 rules of golden in the book. Remember when I said that the book not only cares about telling stories taking place in the ancient Babylon, but it also impersonates the language of the days, right? Back in the days, of course, we didn't have money. People didn't have money, but we had gold. We had gold, right? So in the book, money is only related to, not only, but mostly referred to as gold for obvious reasons, right? Okay, so what is the rule number 1 according to the book? Oh, also, this is an ancient English language, okay? For the reasons I've just remembered you guys. So start thy purse to fattening. Start your purse to fattening. Okay. When you hear, see, or read, thy, thy, is like it is an ancient English form of saying your. Okay. We have thou, thou, as a u, ancient version. If you read the Bible in English, provided that it is not it's not in a modern language or modernized language, if you will, you will find these words. Okay, so thy is your. Okay, very good. So rule number 1: start thy purse to fattening. Start your purse fattening. Get your pockets bigger and bigger, basically. Okay, and how do you do that according to the book? Let's read. Save at least 10% of your income before you do anything else. Pay yourself first. Guys, I have to admit that the first time I heard someone saying pay yourself first as a solution to money problems, I kind of laughed. I had a skeptical position. Okay, like get the hell out of here, why would I pay myself first? Isn't the money mine anyways? Why do I have to pay myself? Everything I got paid is mine, right? And that's a big mistake, okay? And the book makes sure to show you that, okay? Of course, when I said I was resistant, I was reluctant to this idea, was before I read the book. The book, again, makes it crystal clear, why you should keep 10% of everything that comes to your hands, as far as riches is concerned. But yeah, by paying yourself first. Here's the mistake. We think that I used to think at least, that your salary, all the money you have is yours. But it's wrong, because you have expenditures, all right? You have expenses. You have to pay your bills. Long story short, you have to pay your bills. You gotta pay your boletos. All right, isn't it true? Yeah, of course it is true. So no matter how much you see yourself as the owner of your money, of your salary, at least 60% of it is fated to go somewhere else every month, okay? It's destined to go somewhere else, or to someone else, if you will. That's it. So what is the principle of saving the 10th part? The principle is like, you're making sure every month that you're gonna have money in case you need this money, all right? We're talking about urgent things, right? Not you need just to satisfy your pleasures, okay? The satisfaction of your pleasures, there's another portion of your salary directed to, okay? 10% is for you go like, hey, this one I'll save. Why? I don't know, I don't care, or maybe I know and tell people if I bother. But nevertheless, you'll save it no matter what, okay? It's the first thing you do. You just put it away, okay? Because if you don't do that, you don't even remember saving it. And if you don't save it, you're never gonna have money saved. And if you never have money saved, in the case of an emergency, which happens every now and then, you're in big trouble. Not to curse here, but it's a family podcast. But you know what I meant when I say you're in big trouble. Yeah. So that's it. And of course, more importantly, when you save money, you start having money to invest. Okay. In the book, the stars in the book, or even 100 years ago when the author wrote the book, we didn't have all the mechanisms we have today, thank God, to invest, to multiply your money, be that a savings account, be that public bonds, be that stocks, be that crypto. But nevertheless, you save the money because sooner or later you will have this money invested, or sooner than later you will use this money. There's no such thing as money not used, only if you die. But if you die, at least you died and left something for your own funeral, for your family, for you die you not only die in peace, but you also left your family as most peacefully as possible in this situation. All right, there's so many to talk about this, but let's just jump into principle number 2. Make thy gold multiply. Okay, so make your money multiply. Invest your savings wisely to make it grow. Seek profitable and safe opportunities for your money. Okay, that goes without explanation, I guess, right? So it's the second rule. You gotta not only save your money, but make sure you know how to invest, how to make this money multiply. There's so many ways to do that. I believe that we can do one episode only related to this if you guys want to. Rule number 3. Put thy gold to work. Okay, make sure your money is actively working for you. Avoid letting it sit idle. Sit idle means to be still, to be, somewhere where it doesn't multiply or work for you, or being wasted, worse than it all, right? Well, I kind of think that rule number 2 and rule number 3 are pretty much the same, right? The only difference is that rule number 2 goes more about savings that don't require much of your effort, okay? Back in the days, as far as I understand, as far as the book lets us know, there was only loaning money, loaning money, like lending money to people and then charging interest. While rule number 3 is more about being an entrepreneur, okay? Investing your money in consolidate businesses, okay? That's the difference as far as I can understand between rule number 2, make thy gold multiply, and rule number 3, put thy gold to work, okay? But it could be the same, it's kind of a vague, kind of the same, but anyways. Rule number 4, guard thy treasures from loss, okay? Make sure you don't lose money. Be cautious with investments and avoid deals that sound too good to be true. Protect your wealth from unnecessary risk. Well, that goes without explanation either. That goes without explanation as well, just like the other rules, right? No matter how good at making money you are, which we talk more about it in rule number 5, or also the rules number 2 and 3. No matter how good you are at saving, no matter how good you are at investing and multiplying your money, if you lose more money than you make, you will get poor. You won't get rich, right? That's obvious. Rule number 5, last but not least, make of thy dwelling a profitable investment. Own your own home or real estate. Sorry. By dwelling, by the way, is like the place you live. Okay, your house, the place you live, and the people you live with. So your house, your family, the ones you love, your friends. Okay, but pretty much your home, right? Your wife, your husband, your kids, your family, your core family. Okay, so own your own home or real estate. It can appreciate in value over time. This is a long-term investment strategy. The book also talks about, of course, buying your own house, having places to live. This is a very good investment, okay? But it also talks about family, okay? So make sure you're a good person if you're a family person, okay? Make sure you not only a good person with everyone else, but also and especially a good person to your family, to your wife, to your husband, girlfriend, boyfriend, especially a wife or husband, for that matter, and of course kids. Make sure you're an example of a sobriety. Wow, it's been a while since I last used this word, sobriety. Sobriedade, guys, sobriety. Make sure you're an example of sobriety in all senses, Make sure by investing your money, by taking care of your expenditures, you're also setting the example that they need, right? People around you, people who love you, and you love them back, right? That's basically what make thy dwelling a profitable investment. Guys, I said 5, but there's 2 more. Ensure a future income, which is basically for your retirement purposes. Save a even smaller bit, but every month and over the years, the decades ahead of you if you're young, to make sure you have this money in the future, because honestly, who knows, right? Most of us pay the funds, right? The social funds in order to get a retirement, but who knows if we will effectively have a retirement 30 years, 40 years from now, and if this retirement will be enough to have a minimally dignified life, whatever it means to you. And 7, here's last but not least, increase thy ability to earn. Of course, constantly learn, but earn. Increase your ability to earn. Increase your ability to be a good employee. Increase your ability to be, if you're an employer, a better employer, if you're an entrepreneurial person, if you're a businessman or a businesswoman, increase your ability to make money, okay? There's nothing worse than getting stuck, especially if your salary isn't a big deal, right? So the book goes and emphasizes you should, what do you like doing, okay? What are you good at doing? Do that as best as you can, okay? With all your efforts and all your heart, as much as possible, of course. And that will be all about this book. I thank you guys once again for your lovely company. I'll be here for the next episode. Thank you so very much. See you there. Bye.